Hey everyone, this is Will from Going Awesome Places, and we were lucky enough to be able to include Easter Island in our month-long trip to Chile. This is the story of our 9 days on Rapa Nui from start to finish, with the hope that this will give you an idea of how to plan your very own adventure to Easter Island. Most people don't know this, but Easter Island is part of Chile, and one of the only ways to get here is by flying from Santiago. To get here is no easy task, as there are several layers of document checks, an entirely different security and customs area in T1. Suffice it to say, it's complicated, and we recommend that you check out our guide on how to get to Easter Island. The flight to Easter Island with LATAM is a lovely 5 hours and 20 minutes, with plenty of time to watch a few movies and eat their included lunch. When you land, you take the stairs to get down to the tarmac.
Here we are!
And walk your way to the terminal. Before you get in, make sure to snap a photo in front of the huge Yorana sign, which is hello in Rapa Nui. The airport is open air style and is pretty similar to others in the Pacific Islands. Wait patiently for your bags to unload onto the carousel, and then you're off. Walk out of the airport and you'll be greeted by a mob of people waiting to pick people up. Our hotel, Takarua Lodge, included airport transfers, and so we looked for our names and voila, there he was. We discovered Takarua Lodge through Booking.com, which we have linked to in the description. It's a property that comes with breakfast, which is key, and is situated right next to the sunset watching spot and ceremonial complex, Tahai. Here's a quick tour of our unit, which comes with a fridge and TV, small table with chairs and hot water kettle, a queen-size bed, which is super comfy and also comes with 2 side tables and lamps. You'll also be happy to hear that there's air condition, Wi-Fi, and plenty of electrical outlets. The bathroom area is also well designed with a single vanity, lots of counter space, fresh flowers, and a few basic toiletries. The toilet is in a separate room, and shower has a rainfall shower head and detachable head. And there's also a floor mat and hooks to use. Lastly is the open closet, which smartly has lots of shelving space to be able to lay out all your things, a safe, and has hangers for your clothes. You also get your own covered patio with wicker-style chairs and table. After you settle in, you'll have some time to roam around, so head over to Hangaroa Harbor, where all of the fishing and diving boats are tied in. If you look closely, you might be lucky enough to spot the sea turtles that like to hang out here. Looking around, you'll realize that there are moai just about everywhere on the island, including this one right in town. You really start feeling those island vibes here. For dinner, there's a nearby Ohio Surf Cafe, which has affordable and yummy local and Chilean dishes. The beauty of being so close to Tahai is that on your way back home, you can conveniently drop by and watch the sunset behind the 2 ahu and their moai. This is definitely one of the more popular things to do on Rapa Nui, and a great way to end the day. Your second day on the island is a big one because it's what's called the Moai Monuments Tour. After the included breakfast in your room, you'll wait for Green Island Tours to pick you up just outside of Takarua Lodge. For this tour, we had the pleasure of being guided by the owner himself, Mark Shields. Your day starts next door at Tahai. As your first official day being guided in Rapa Nui, Mark does a fantastic job of providing all of the background information and history of Rapa Nui. You'll also learn about the ceremonial complex here, which consists of 2 platforms called ahu. One that has its coral eye still in place, the only one that you'll see on the island, and the other that has 5 moai. In Tahai, you'll have a chance to see where famed archaeologist William Malloy is buried, see the foundations of canoe-shaped houses, giant stone chicken coops, and special carved stones. At this point, you still haven't gotten your national park passes, so you'll do that next in downtown Hangaroa. You'll need this to be able to enter in all the gated moai sites. On the way out of the city, we drop by this bakery which has the best empanadas, the perfect lunch to go. The second site you'll visit is Aniquina. According to oral tradition, the Polynesian chief Hotu Matua led 2 canoes here and founded the first settlement on Rapa Nui. There are 2 ahus. One is Ahu Nau Nau. Nestled in the palm grove, there are 7 moai, 5 of them which have their top knots. The other is a single moai called Ahu Ature. Your guide will point out a lot of interesting features on the carvings of the moai, including positions of their hands. From the back, there are even more details. Here, you'll see repurposed stone blocks, including the sideways person and also an old stone head. And yes, horses are known to roam around here as well. Aniquina is a unique setting because behind the moai is a beautiful white coral sand beach. Te Pitukura is a quick stop where you'll see these magical stones that are said to be the navel of the world, and there's also the largest moai ever erected that's now fallen over. Next up on the tour is a visit to Tongariki, the largest platform on the island and really the pinnacle of their work with a whopping 15 moai. The scale of these is quite impressive, and it's interesting to see how each one is different, representing an elder of the tribe facing inland to protect its people. Further back, there's a moai that they speculate sadly broke on its way to Tongariki, and behind that, there are well-preserved petroglyphs including the god Maki Maki and a big tuna fish. Mark knows all the best spots photography, and on your way in or out, you might be able to pick up a few of these moai replicas as souvenirs, some of the cheapest on the island. As a quick lunch spot, you'll drive to an in-situ moai site, which means that they've left the ahu as it was found and not rebuilt. Leaving the best for last, you'll end off the tour at Ranuraraku. This is the volcanic quarry where all the moai were carved from. It's here that you come face to face with these stone heads that you've seen pictures of and realize that it's really just the tip of the iceberg. As you walk through, you'll see tilted moai at all angles, revealing only their heads and parts of their torso. Looking at the rock itself, you'll find partially cut moai at all stages and angles, including lying down. Each one was waiting to be transported to ahu all over the island, and suddenly, everything stopped. This is bound to be one of the highlights of your trip. For dinner, you'll get dropped off in Hangaroa, and we suggest trying out Makona. Here's a look at what we ordered. It was definitely one of our favorites. As the sun sets, make your way back to the lodge. You'll love that Tahai is just part of your walk home. The weather can change on a dime here, and seeing the rain, we decided to rearrange our second day of touring with Green Island Tours and make it an off day of exploration instead. A rainy day is perfect to visit Rapa Nui Museum, which is right next to Takarua Lodge. Outside, you'll see an amazing piece of artwork that uses washed away fishing nets repurposed to create this emerging octopus. This museum is free and does a really good job at telling the story of the ancestors of Rapa Nui, from their journey to the island, the cult of the moai, and more. Inside, you'll find a ton of artifacts, including one of the few female moai discovered, an authentic white coral carved eye, a rongo rongo tablet, obsidian tools, and much more. They also have a second temporary exhibit that features more artifacts. With the weather improving, this is a good day to head into Hangaroa and have lunch at Dulce Mar, which has a healthy lunch menu of rice platters, sandwiches, and fresh fruit juices. At the pier, you might find kids fishing and brave ones going out surfing. This is your chance to also hit up the local Santander or Banco Estado bank if you need to withdraw cash. If you're up for a bit of an adventure on foot, you can trace the coastline westward, and along the way you'll see modern carvings and more moai. Eventually you'll make it to Anakai Tangata, where you can take the steps down to reach a sea cave, where there's a large collection of cave paintings in red, white, and black. And they're mostly of the sacred Manatara or Sooty Tern bird. It sure is a beautiful view from here. On your way back, you may encounter vendors selling more small moai statues. Again, these one-off vendors usually have the best prices. For dinner, you'll eat at the local food truck area. Craving Asian food, we tried ohi sushi, which we thought was just average. And just like that, day 3 is over.
I am Ludo.
For our second major tour, we had the pleasure of being guided by Ludo of Green Island Tours. This particular tour is called the Historic Pathways Tour and is meant to complement the first Moai Monuments Tour. So we started the day back at Anakai Tangata, which was poor planning on my part, but this was more about giving us background on the Rapa Nui people, and he even gave us a performance. From here, you'll start driving up towards Orongo with stops along the way to look back at the airport and Hangaroa below. When you make it to Orongo, you'll see that you're perched right at the upper rim of the volcanic crater Ranukau. After you get your tickets checked, your guide will talk more about the importance of the Manutara or Sooty Tern, which is all part of the cult of the Birdman, the religion that emerged near the tail end of the moai. You'll have clear view of the motu that was part of the Birdman competition, where representatives of each of the major tribes sent their best to retrieve the first Manutara egg. Orongo itself is a ceremonial village that was a central part of the Birdman competition, with numerous dwellings that you'll see up close, numerous petroglyphs that are in danger of being lost due to the erosion on this side of the crater, awesome views of the center part of the crater, and other special features. Once you leave Orongo, you'll be taken to another lookout point for the crater. Here, Ludo showed us how the rock had dimples carved into this rock to represent the constellation Pleiades. Vinapu is the next archaeological site. This is a smaller ahu that's been left in its original state, but walk around the back and notice the retaining wall of the platform and how similar this is to the stonework you can find in Peru as part of the Incan Empire. Vaihu is another stop along the way. There's a replica village for tourists and also another in situ ahu. So what about those red top knots? Those weren't actually carved at Ranuraraku Quarry. The Rapa Nui needed red scoria stone from a separate quarry named Punapau. This is where they cut out the stone, carved them in cylindrical shapes, rolled them down the hill, finished them, and had them shipped off to various ahu on the island. Not all ceremonial complexes were by the water, and Ahu Akivi is an example of that. Your guide will tell you why these 7 moai were built here and the significance of the direction they face. The last part of the tour is a cave tunnel system called Ana Te Pahu. You'll first be teased by openings in the ground with full-size trees sprouting through them, but there's more. Ana Te Pahu is in fact the best example of volcanic tubes that were created thousands of years ago when Easter Island was created. Your guide will lead you down a path that takes you into a tunnel system created by lava tubes. In some areas, the cave ceiling has collapsed completely, allowing seed, sunlight, and water to come through, creating an oasis grove of banana trees. This cave system was used as a refuge, burial chamber, and hiding place. Have a quick dinner at a restaurant like Poco Poco in Hangaroa, and then get picked up again for an evening stargazing tour with Mark from Green Island Tours. Similar to Atacama, learn about the southern sky and use a high-powered telescope to see star clusters, nebulae, and planets while munching on snacks and drinking hot cocoa. You'll also be able to see Ahu Nau Nau in Anakina under the illumination of the night sky. After a packed day, it'll be nice to see Rapa Nui at your own pace. We love sending out postcards, so we started with heading to Correos Chile to buy stamps, which is part of something we do everywhere we go. Next to the National Park Office is the Feria Artisanal Market. It's the smaller of the two markets, but still has plenty of vendors and is easy to get to. With the big tours on the island done, you can now turn to self-exploration with a rental car. We grabbed ours from Insular Rent-A-Car, where the cheapest rate is for a Suzuki Jimny, the perfect little 4x4. Learning from Mark, grab your empanada lunch from this bakery in town, and also grab maybe some of their cookies as well. Not all moai are gated, and so you can actually see some of the smaller sites on your own, like this one that's just off the road. Something you can totally do on your own is the Via Ater Trail, where the trailhead is marked in the map on our blog's itinerary. It goes uphill from the gate and eventually takes you to the opposite side of the crater to Orongo. You can go as far as you want and then turn back. For a great seafood dinner, Te Moana is a popular spot in town. Something you have to do while you're on Rapa Nui is the Kari Kari performance. You can buy tickets on the spot, and it's a 90-minute show that has amazing music and highly energetic dancing. If you're up for it, there's audience participation as well. If you'd like to go scuba diving, you can do that as well here. Using the Mike Rapu dive shop in Hangaroa Harbor, the main dive site that everyone goes for is the underwater moai site. Just a word of warning, the waters are a bit chilly, as you can tell from Chantel's reaction. I'll be honest, the diving here was pretty average in terms of the coral and fish, so we say that one dive is really enough just to see the underwater moai. Also, it's worth noting that this is a replica moai that's rumored to have been placed here after the filming of the 1994 movie Rapa Nui, a movie you should definitely watch before you go on this trip. In what's categorized as if you know kind of thing, you can actually head into the Senator office to get your passport stamped. The hours aren't consistent with what's posted, so you might have to drop by a few times. A new lunch spot in town is Mana Cafe. They have lots of Chilean classics including pastel de choclo and pork chops with mushrooms and fries. Driving your own rental car gives you a lot of freedom, and you'll find that for the most part the roads are pretty good. The main highway was actually paved by NASA when they used Rapa Nui as an emergency runway for the shuttle program. There are, however, potholes like this that you have to worry about, and then there are the cows and horses. Make your way over to Ovahe Beach. This is the beach that locals like going to because it's often way less crowded. There's a short walk to the beach, and when you get here, you'll see that the collapsed rock has actually turned it into almost 2 beaches. The sand is quite soft, and there's lots of space to lay your towels. A heads up that this cliff actually blocks the sun in the afternoon, so depending on what you're looking for, time your trip here depending on what you like. Right next door is Anakina Beach, which you've been to already. Since it wasn't quite warm enough to do actual beaching, we were drawn to the moai and enjoyed seeing them up close at our own pace. Another superb restaurant that we'd suggest hitting up is Neptune's Island. If you like seafood, don't miss out on La Taverne du Pêcheur where, you guessed it, their ceviche and fresh fish are awesome. With your trusty Suzuki Jimny, drive around the island to do more of the sites that you don't really need a guide for. Well, okay, this one is actually managed, but we were somehow able to drive in from the other side because they had left the gate open. We got to see the large clusters of platforms, caves, and fallen moai until someone on a motorcycle charged in and told us we needed a guide. Totally our fault. There's literally moai everywhere. We even saw this lone moai on the side of the road that probably broke while being moved to its ahu. Since we couldn't get into Tongariki without a guide, it's just as easy to see from the road, so we did just that. Papavaka can be visited without a guide as it's just a turnstile to get in. This is probably the biggest cluster of petroglyphs on the island, depicting many important things such as fish, turtles, Manutara, and a very large petroglyph of a canoe. On your way back, do a little bit of shopping by dropping by Mercado Artesanal, the larger of the 2 markets. And wrap up your day by trying Polynesian coffee and tea for dinner. They're one of the more affordable restaurants in town, and we highly recommend them. Going off the beaten path is something we always try to do on our trips, and when we discovered that there was a whole section of the island that you could only see on foot, we jumped at the chance. This is a full-day hike through the north coast. We again booked with Green Island Tours and spent a day with Mark and his dog. This hike is one way and isn't a straightforward trail, so you definitely want to have a guide for this. You'll get dropped off at the start and picked up at the end. Here's a look at all of the moai we encountered, the remnants of communities, ahu shaped like European boats, caves, petroglyphs, beautiful coastline, and more. Back. This is one of the reasons why we recommend that you stay on Rapa Nui more than the 4 or 5 days that most people suggest. Treat yourself to one of our fancier meals on the island at Te Moai Sunset. They're actually right next door to Takarua Lodge, so we got changed and had dinner on their 2nd floor while watching the sunset. This whole time, you haven't been able to do one of the more iconic activities on Rapa Nui, to see the sunrise at Tongariki. It's truly a magical sight. Even after the sun's up, wait for the sun to cast those long shadows of the moai on the grass. This is a photographer's dream. This is also your last chance to see anything that you missed before you return your rental car. And since you would have missed breakfast, head back to Polynesian Coffee and Tea for their extensive healthy options like this acai bowl. Check out of Takarua Lodge and you'll get the included shuttle back to the airport and a souvenir to remember them by. The check-in process is pretty straightforward since there's only the LATAM counter, and once you're through security, you'll be in an open-air waiting area which has front-row views of your plane landing. And just like that, 9 days will have gone by in a flash. If it was anything like our trip, this will be one of your most memorable trips you've ever done and entirely unique. A big part of making it a great trip was our accommodations in Takarua Lodge and our guides at Green Island Tours. As a bonus, if you book with Green Island Tours and mention Going Awesome Places, you'll get Mark's Easter Island photography book. These details are in the description below. Now hear from the man himself, Mark Shields.
Hi guys, Mark Shields coming at you from Easter Island, Rapa Nui. My company is Green Island Tours. We'd love to see you here on this beautiful island. If you want to see the best on this island, check us out. See you soon.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this long but epic journey through Rapa Nui. Thanks for watching, and give a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Till next time, Maururu. Take it away, Ludo.
Kaparu te haka ni mai ki ye. Hou, koto toke rau, ho pea. He kimi ana i te ki ye. He kimi ana i te ki ye. Mora wara ana i roto i te ana I runga I te motu. Mora wara ana I roto I te ana I runga I te motu. Hakamatara, ia! Hakamatara, ia!